red tape that slows down critical infrastructure projects. While no deal is perfect, this is only the beginning, and we cannot allow the perfect to be the enemy of the good. Republicans under the leadership of Speaker McCarthy have restored balance to government
there we go. All right.
and put an end to the Democrats' massive.
Let me turn down this lady's voice very fast.
Spending sprees.
There we go. Let me turn it down in my ear as well. Hey, everybody. Sorry about the little weird setup. Today's a big day. Sorry I haven't been able to stream too much this week. My sister, as I told you guys, is off in South Korea. And basically, my mom has to have her door unlocked every day by 8 o'clock, and I'm normally going to bed at like 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've been having very limited sleep with no naps. And so I've really just been too grouchy to actually stream. And so instead of giving you guys a grouchy experience, I've just been holding off. And even now, I got myself some type of milk coffee to kind of help me out. Basically, it's some coffee that I brewed, and I just put more milk than coffee because I don't like coffee as much anymore because it hurts my stomach. But what do you call? I'm literally just trying to stay awake for you guys, so bear with me a little bit here as we go on. I know this is kind of a weird day here, but right now we are going to be looking at this vote in a few minutes time as well. Let me see if I can go over here very fast to display. There we go. Hey, Nico, happy to see you. We will be looking at the charts and stuff like that. Behind this, when I do move this chart back down here, you will see them talking in the right-hand corner. But for now, I want to have it full screen. That way we can talk about what they're talking about and just kind of chill here. This is the Bitcoin 1-minute chart. The daily, this is the daily chart right there. We did get rejected off of that 50. We did start getting slammed back down here a little bit more. Today is going to be a big, big day because we could drop down 1,000 points. We're hoping that even if we do drop, there's some good news to maybe pump us back up here. So we're kind of in a perilous spot at this moment in time, okay? And hey, Monster, hope you're doing well. Now let's get back to the other one where I can make this full screen here, if I can. I'm on the government website right now. So the government, I'm taking everything from the government here, guys. So if there's glitches, don't blame me. Blame our tax dollars, okay? Now, let's go over here very fast. I do want to see my face right there. And I do want to go over here to new scene. I just made this fresh, so sorry about this, guys, but everything should be working now. And there we go.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the chairman very much.
Let me know what you guys are thinking.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act is not perfect, and God knows we need serious corrections, but there are at least 10 conservative American provisions in this bill that will benefit our economy and advance a higher level of fiscal responsibility. And let's be honest, this is the most conservative bill that can pass with a Biden.
Hey, Justin, just watching the debate before the bill is voted on.
The Act stops the excessive spending, stops the bleeding, and adds to our workforce with work requirements. It includes the most important federal environmental permitting reforms in 40 years. And don't take my word for it. This is coming from the Associated General Contractors of America, the Petroleum Institute, the Marcellus Shale Coalition, and the National Association of Manufacturers. Virtually every small business association, every group committed to sound fiscal policy, such as Americans for Tax Reform and Americans for Prosperity, have endorsed this legislation. This bill reins in the Biden administration's executive order spending, which accounted for over $1 trillion in spending over the last 2 years. There's also a reduction of the IRS of $20 billion, protect Social Security, and all the while we will avoid a catastrophic default. I urge support of this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Missouri continues to reserve.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Michigan, Congressman Kildee, whose voice and health have been returned.
I sure did start early. I was like, oh, they're talking. Why not just go now?
Thank you, Mr.
Plus, I've been able to get on earlier.
To my friend.
Here, hold on.
The ranking member.
Before we get started, guys, I'm sorry about not being able to stream over the past few days. I've been having to help my mom a lot more because my sister's out of the country. She's in South Korea. And so I go to bed like around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning a lot of times. That's why I see some of those copy trades really early. And I have to be at my mom's house. If my mom's over here, I have to open up the door by 8 o'clock, which means once I'm up, I'm up. And I've been having like 3 nights consistently of like just bad sleep because I'm forced to wake up early. And I've been like ticked off and grouchy about every little thing, I guess, besides Loki here. So I've been like mellowed out. Like yesterday, I spent the whole day at the beach just walking around with Loki and chilling out because I was just like not having anything about work, life, anything. I was just like, I need to take a break. So, what do you go? We can get back to this now, but yeah, sorry about not being here for the past few days. Should be pretty chill now. I'm still pretty tired, but I'm hoping later on tonight I'm going to make some dinner and then just like crash and hopefully I have enough time from crashing tonight till 7:30 when I need to wake up to open up the door to help my mom out. And hey, Mr. You're a Michigan Democrat. I don't know what that means.
We need to make sure that we accept the fact that we've come to a compromise that protects Medicare, Medicaid, protects the American people from catastrophic default. I urge my colleagues to support this
Time has
legislation.
expired. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Time has expired.
I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from California, Mr. McClintock.
Gentleman from California, you're recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time in my 15 years in Congress that I've voted to increase the debt limit. I do so today because this measure places real constraints on future spending, more than $2 trillion. That makes this bill the most important victory for fiscal conservatism in more than a decade. The debt is but a symptom of the central problem: reckless spending. Once we've spent $1, there are only 3 ways to pay for it: taxes, inflation, or debt. It's the spending stupid. We've got a long way to go. But until the American people have had enough and replaced the president and the Senate majority, this is a remarkable step forward. And the many pro-growth provisions in the bill provide the most potent antidote to debt: economic expansion. Defeating this bill would create a financial and political panic that will quickly forfeit the many hard-won reforms that are in this bill. We cannot let that happen.
Gentleman from Missouri reserves.
Reserves.
Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
I yield 1 minute.
That's a pretty good idea, Larry. He looks like he can make a little bit of money out of that, too. Long term.
Congressman Byer.
Gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this imperfect bill. Look, I would much rather have voted for a clean debt limit increase, as we did 3 times under the previous president. And I do believe it's profoundly wrong. The Republicans chose to hold our economy hostage using the American
God, I gotta shave.
leverage to demand concessions.
Feel my hair.
And it was unnecessary. We're in a divided House. They have all the leverage they need to negotiate this through the regular appropriations process. You know, our values sometimes overlap, but they don't here when they want to protect the wealthiest tax cheats, and we just want everyone to pay their fair share. Look, President Biden and his negotiating team worked skillfully and successfully to prevent a majority of the draconian tax cuts. This bill could have been so much worse, but it would be a catastrophe if we didn't pass it. I will vote yes, and I continue to urge my colleagues to permanently abolish the debt ceiling, which can cause a real disaster someday soon if we don't get rid of it. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentleman from Massachusetts
Continue
reserve.
Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
I yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Lawler.
Gentleman is recognized for 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to voice my support.
Okay, they're just doing a little talk. I can answer that question for you. So, I'm not entirely sure, Nico. I know nothing about how it works with Coinbase. I don't use Coinbase for anything besides transferring money from, exchanges over to my bank account. Now, as far as GT, why are they wasting time? So basically what's happening right now is this weird dynamic happening in Washington, D.C., where we're seeing about, I can turn this up just a little bit here, where we are seeing about 4 different parties. So you got the very, very left, you got the very, very right, most people call these progressives, you could call these far right, I don't exactly know what they call themselves, freedom caucuses, progressives, freedom caucuses. Then you got your typical Republicans and your typical Democrats, and they're all trying to save face now depending on how they're trying to vote on this. And so what you're seeing is progressives saying blah 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 blah, or if they're voting for it, they're saying, hey, this sucks, but I gotta vote for it because the default is so bad. And you're just seeing that dynamic play out right now, and they're all trying to save face because they know this is going to be a tough vote. Republicans don't like this vote. Democrats don't like this vote. That kind of means we've had a good amount of compromise here. So, this is the best we could do. It's the best our government could do. This bill is overwhelmingly in favor of Republicans, but it looks like it didn't go as far enough as the ones on the furthest of the right wanted it to go, I guess. Oh, I should have used this button. I have that button now, and I just never use it. So everyone, I'm gonna use it every now and again. Okay. I'm making them sign to withdrawals until 5 years. Every 2 years, they have to put at least another $7K in. That's pretty reasonable there. Switching brokers, TD Fidelity, seems like both are popular among new investors. I think they're both really great. I would actually open up accounts at both of them and see which one you like. A lot of times, you're just going to be checking out some of the demos, and you'll be fine with those. Personally, I like TD Ameritrade, but Fidelity is another great one. If you like the aesthetics of Fidelity, I think that's why more people go there. I've always gone to TD Ameritrade because I just feel like they've had the best support. But again, my experience is I haven't tried Fidelity in years, so maybe their support's actually gotten a lot better. So I'm not the best person to ask, but personally, I think they're two great brokers that you're not going to have an issue with either one of them. Really, they're both really solid. It's kind of just a preference of which one you like and which one you don't. Now, as far as switching, and maybe yesterday, hey man, I can't do that. I got nerve damage in my hands, but I wish I could do. I can kind of do it. Live long and prosper. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's go back over here. Let's listen to what these guys have to say because I'm not paying attention. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me yield 1 minute to another very capable member of the Ways and Means Committee, the gentleman from Illinois, Mr.
I just love people watching in the background.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
1 minute.
Gentleman from Illinois is recognized for 1 minute.
Yes, you just watch the people in the background.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of the bipartisan
Everybody has so
budget
much sass.
and President Biden's work to ensure the nation pays our bills and avoids catastrophic, self-inflicted economic crisis. This legislation protects the many bipartisan achievements realized in the last Congress, such as the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, CHIPS and Science Act, and PACT Act, as well as the Inflation Reduction Act, with its historic investments in addressing climate change. With this vote, we will protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and prevent devastating cuts sought to life-sustaining SNAP and TANF programs. With this vote, we will keep America moving forward to meet the challenges ahead of us. Compromise requires give and take, and both sides make difficult concessions to achieve this agreement. This is the result of bipartisan deal-making.
See the guy on the right?
Holding up the president's side.
His face is saying this is bull.
I hope this is a learning moment and we can avoid future political brinksmanship. I urge all my colleagues to put the American people over politics and support this important bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
And just one more thing. Remember, this is supposed to be their vacation. This is supposed to be their week off. So I would assume many people are just going to be angry they have to be here, but it's their own freaking fault. It's their own fault.
California is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And they also get paid enough to do this.
The debt ceiling. Because if we don't, we will.
Hey, Gabriel, you're not late. Don't worry. I started like a half an hour early. You chill.
Most important financial system, the United States of America. I support a clean raising of the debt ceiling, but elections have consequences. And my colleagues on the other side wanted to use their leverage for concessions. And so, in a divided government, governing means compromise, and it gets us this bill. Legislation that would, would raise the debt ceiling until 2025. 2, the bill would stop the drastic cuts desired by the Republicans, and it would protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And although it limits SNAP for certain ages, it expands those types of benefits for veterans and our homeless. And finally, we protect the historic legislation that we passed last Congress to invest in our infrastructure, our manufacturing, reduce our drug costs, and care for veterans. And part of this bill even furthers our transition to clean energy. So I will vote for this bill, but we have a lot more to do if we want to get serious about reducing our debt and deficit. But that only begins when we stop governing by crisis and start governing by leadership.
Hey, Tanker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman from Massachusetts continues reserved. Gentleman from Missouri.
I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Pfluger.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today on behalf of my district, most important energy district in the country, and on behalf of American energy independence. And on behalf of all Americans who are searching for a reasonable solution to a looming crisis. There are approximately right now 229 major fossil fuel projects in the United States currently awaiting permit approval. A recent study found that $157 billion in energy investment was stuck in the NEPA pipeline, and that simply a 2-year NEPA deadline would spur $67 billion in energy investment. Killing energy projects by the bureaucratic red tape nightmare and the slow walking that we've seen is unacceptable. No more. I'm extremely proud of the energy reforms, the NEPA reforms, the EPA reforms, in this bill, the first in over 40 years, which will speed up over 200 projects to lower costs for consumers and protect our national security. No, this bill is not perfect, and arguably it shouldn't be. A divided government yields compromise, and it slows the heavy hand of government. But saving $2 trillion, lifting families out of poverty, and defunding IRS agents is worth it. Vote yes for America's energy independence.
Gentleman's time expired. Chair, I recognize the gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, I want to yield 1 minute to the distinguished gentlelady from the Virgin Islands, an alum of the Ways and Means Committee, Congresswoman Plaskett.
Gentlelady from the Virgin Islands recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Through Democrats' leadership, Democrats have protected our hard-earned and historic economic recovery. That team secured an agreement that prevents Republicans from forcing devastating default and rejects their most extreme cuts in the GOP Default in America bill. President Biden's agreement protected Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, veterans' health care. This was a negotiation with individuals whose prime priority was cutting food assistance and protecting the wealthy, and that was their main priority across the entire negotiation. Fiscal responsibility, their only responsibility was to protect their tax cuts
I'm the guy
for
in the back.
ultra-wealthy that grew the debt to $7 trillion in the first place. The president successfully insisted that this agreement was going to include time limits on SNAP. It needed to include meaningful improvements to SNAP. Republicans protected the wealthy at the feet of the neediest Americans.
Gentleman's time's expired.
Democrats understand the needs of the American people and our most vulnerable Americans, as well as the full faith and credit.
Expired.
What do you call? I like her pearls. I do like those pearls, and the sash is pretty chill. But what do you call? I'm kind of disappointed about how well they're articulating their thoughts here. They don't really sound like great orators or great people that are giving really great inspirational speeches. Kind of disappointing, but I'm hoping to get more sass here in a little bit.
Rate fall to its lowest level in 40 years. Low and middle income families of four saved at least $2,000 on their tax bill each year. I reserve.
Gentleman from Missouri continues reserved. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me recognize the distinguished gentleman from Georgia, the ranking member on the Agricultural Committee, Mr. Scott, for 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Recognized.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a most historic night.
Gentlemen will suspend. The House will be in order. Gentlemen needs to be
It's like a classroom.
Thank you.
Stop talking while he's talking.
First of all, I want to thank President Biden. President Biden invited me, along with the other leaders, ranking member and chairman of our Agriculture Committee. And it gave me a chance to talk straight to the president about the serious food shortage that's coming to our veterans. Right now, when I told him, and many of you may not know this, but the veterans are living in more insecure food households than anybody else, a 7.4% higher than the general public. And when I told President Biden that, he said, we got to do something about it. And that's when he moved with his energy to be able to
That's a good mean mug.
Not only the veterans, but SNAP and others off of SNAP work requirements.
Gentleman's time's expired.
God bless this president for his leadership.
Gentleman's time's expired.
Oh,
Chair will remind members
I was gonna try to zoom in on his face.
Their conversations from the floor.
What type of toupee is that?
Deserve to be heard. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Gentleman continues to reserve. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Let me recognize the distinguished gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Mervin, for 1 minute.
Gentleman from Indiana is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ran for Congress to solve problems, and this legislation averts a crisis.
He is a mean mug, and now I can't take my eyes off of him. He's just looking.
Credit ratings or increase interest rates and risk retirees and devastate their 401ks. A default would also jeopardize numerous investments in the American worker in the 117th Congress, including the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. This bill not only increased created jobs, but it also, with a strong Buy American provision, strengthen our domestic steel and manufacturing.
They don't
base,
know enough because
and it
they have
also
too much money to
allows
understand
for
what
our
it's like.
members,
I
our
only
veterans
understand
to
what
be
it's like because I
protected
grew up
and
poor.
puts funds
I'm not poor
dedicated
anymore,
to
thank
the
God. But
health benefits and
I know it
provides
sucked when I
resources
was.
for the
I was poor until I was
Toxic
about
Exposure Fund.
24,
I
25.
appreciate
I'm only 28 now, so I've
dedicated
only had a
work
few
of
years
the
of good wealth, and even then I've been
administration
saving.
and the Democratic colleagues. For my neighbor Gretchen, who had anxiety about her 401k, this bill supports the American worker. It supports the American industry, the steel industry, and it also
Gentleman's time's expired.
protects the American dream. I'm voting yes.
Got a yes vote.
Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Missouri.
Dude, that guy in the front right there who has to type all of this out, I commend those people.
Gentleman from Massachusetts
They
has
are
5
amazing
minutes
people.
remaining.
Imagine
Gentleman
having to
from
type
Missouri has
everything
2
being
1/2
said.
minutes.
Everything
We're
being
waiting
said.
on one speaker, and I'd like to move this along, depending on what the chairman's position is.
Prepared to close. We're prepared to
After
close.
you're prepared to close?
Yes.
I don't know who the guy. Probably a Republican guy, because usually the party in power keeps that position there.
Recognized for closing.
But that's a horrible
Thank
toupee.
you.
That's a
Mr. Speaker, I think
Saturday
this
Night
has
Live
been an
toupee.
elevating conversation about how we arrived here tonight. Our colleagues on the other side, they voted for the infrastructure bill, they voted for the CHIPS Act, they voted for the CARES Act, they voted for the defense spending increases, and they voted for a tax cut in 2017 that borrowed $2.3 trillion that was added to the national debt. Now, for those who might be paying attention tonight, the national debt is the cumulative effect of deficits. These were annual deficits that were run up. Neither party is responsible for the pandemic. On March 11th of 2020, we were warned what was coming. 20 million jobs evaporated. Tonight, in some measure because of the leadership of Joe Biden, every one of those jobs has been returned, and 9.5 million jobs go unanswered.
Seems like this is supposed to be the bigger dog
In
speaking.
this negotiation, which means you don't get everything you want, there are some quality moments that we take great credit for. We defended Social Security, despite the fact there were 3 Republican senators who proposed cuts to Social Security. That's the reality. We defended Medicare. We defended Medicaid, and we defended veterans' benefits. And very proud of the fact that we wrote the Pandemic Relief Act. There's a group here tonight, I've been here long enough to know this, they were against this before they were against it. They were against it.
Thanks for liking the
years
stream,
ago.
everybody.
Never mind tonight. But this moment of bringing the nation to default, what this does, or what it would do to the American dollar as the currency of choice for the world, what this would do in treasury markets for liquidity purposes, what this would do to the hard-earned 401k plans of the American family, to take us to this moment in this showdown that we had.
Anime.
This argument tonight was never about perfection. All 435 members of this House would probably have written a different version of this bill. But in divided government, that's not reality. Now, the last point I want to make is this. In coming days after this righteous debate about balancing the budget, our Republican colleagues are about to offer a massive tax cut. We need to be ready because of the fiscal rectitude that they have offered on this floor tonight. So the corresponding responsibility of all of us is to point out what they intend to do with another tax cut. 201, 1.3
No, just coffee and
trillion
milk with a lot
and
of
by the
extra
way,
milk.
With 2 wars and 2 million more veterans that we need to support. Now, the other reality is back in 2003, another $1 trillion of tax cuts. And the worst one of all, that tax cut in December of 2017, where they borrowed $2.3 trillion for a tax cut that went to the wealthiest among us and had very meager economic growth. So this debate tonight was a good and spirited one because we also have, I think, found a common purpose in passing this legislation. But let's
Tanker, right now they're just talking about the bill. The bill has not been voted on yet. After the bill is voted on today, if it gets passed, it will therefore go to the Senate next. The Senate will try to amend it. If the amendments are passed or whatever and the bill gets passed, it'll go back to the House. They'll vote on it again most likely, and it'll go to the president. There's also a chance it may just go from the Senate to the president. We'll be lucky if that happens. But it seems like there are some senators who may try to hold up the process here. So even though they're going to be voting on it today, it still has to go to the Senate and then to the president's desk. Maybe back to the House here if they amend it too much.
Well, let me tell you about the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. Last year, we had record revenue into the United States of $4.9 trillion, which was $900 billion plus more than what Joint Tax and CBO predicted what would happen upon passage of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act delivered for a family of 4 who makes less than $60,000 a year that they pay 0 in federal taxes.
Gentlemen will suspend. The House will be in order. Members will remove their conversations from the floor. The gentleman deserves to be heard. The gentleman's recognized.
But, Mr. Speaker, let's talk about tax cuts. The other side passed something called the Inflation Reduction Act, and it was tax cuts for their wealthy donors. In fact, the CBO just came out with a new score saying that it cost over $700 billion. But guess what? 90% of your tax credits go to corporations with more than $1 billion in revenues. And it goes to $125 billion to China. That is what your tax cuts did.
Uh-oh, bringing out the C card.
After years of Washington running in the wrong direction, we have an opportunity to take meaningful steps in the right direction on addressing America's debt crisis. The American people deserve nothing less. They see what inflation caused by reckless spending of the Democrat Party has done to their family budgets, to their retirement security, and to their small business plans.
It'll take a few more days to get all the way done.
Doling out of tax dollars under the guise of COVID relief. We have the opportunity to downsize the $80 billion pay raise that was given to the IRS last year. The IRS does not need a raise. It needs a reckoning. We have the opportunity to support those who can work, to find work and climb out of poverty. We have the opportunity to put some guardrails on the administration so if they are going to spend tax dollars by executive fiat, they have to find savings somewhere else. We have the opportunity and the responsibility to address our debt crisis as we address the debt ceiling. Yield back, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Missouri reserves. Yields back his balance at this time. Members are reminded
it's the hair. This guy's hair is the worst I've ever seen.
The debate has expired pursuant to House Resolution 456.
Shit, dude, this guy's hair.
The previous question is ordered on the bill as amended. Question is on engrossment and third reading of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it.
Jesus.
Provide for a responsible increase to the debt ceiling.
So this must be the vote.
The question is on passage of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Aye. No. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Without objection. Purposes of gentleman. Gentleman from Massachusetts asked for a recorded vote. Those in favor of a recorded vote will rise. Sufficient number having arisen, a recorded vote is ordered.
Now they're about to vote.
Will record their votes by electronic device. Pursuant to Clause 9 of Rule 20, this 15-minute vote on passage of the bill.
Okay, very fast. What just happened there, why he was like stuttering back and forth, those on the far right and on the far left, like progressives and the hard conservatives, they are both trying to yell to say we want to vote because they both want to be that person that says, I want to vote, I want to have the vote. Okay, you might hear some chatting every now and again, but honestly, nothing's happening here. They're just, everybody's voting. On the screen here, you may see something of a vote. There we go. Okay, so you may see this here pop up. Let me move my head down just a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. I'll be miniature for a little bit. You have your yays, nays, your presents, and your not voted yet. So far, you can definitely see there are Republicans that are voting for it and not voting for it. You got Democrats doing the same thing. What you need to pass, I believe, is 218. Let me verify that very fast just for you guys. Pass a bill in the House. That is 218 votes. I knew my, let's see. Let's go over here very fast. There we go. There we go. I know if my AP Gov classes in high school would be beneficial to my YouTube days longer in life. But yeah, we need 218 votes. So it's going to be a little bit of guys. Feel free to talk about whatever you guys want to. If you guys have any questions on the bill, let me know. I've been taking a look at it for quite a bit of time. There's been some wacky stuff in there. I mean, freaking Joe Manchin got a pipeline in the bill. There's some, like, the compromise level of that guy is just crazy. Every single time he gets what he wants. So far, about 300 people, a little over, haven't voted yet. So we got some time, guys. 218. Oh, thank you, Justin. There we go. Mike Rogers look like Donald Trump. I mean, he does. It's the hair, dude. It's the toupee. Donald Trump can afford a nice toupee, but I'm pretty sure everybody in Congress gets some really good money, so they should be able to pay for it. You can see the gallery on top now. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to the Capitol or even your local state capitol. These buildings are usually very gorgeous. I would appreciate if you guys checked them out. You guys don't do what I want, but I would say go out, check out your state capitol if you guys have never done it. They're very, very nice buildings, and it kind of shows the imperial might of America and kind of our negotiation areas, if you will. But I've always liked the way they look. Some are looking very nice at this. Some just kind of have desks like schools, but they still look majestic when you look at the buildings and how they're kind of structured. But yeah, not many people in the gallery, it looks like. Maybe just mostly reporters, I would say. A lot of reporters, maybe some photographers here. You don't really see many people actually down in the box area unless they voted already. And we're up to 115 votes. We need about 103 before the bill passes. If it does not pass, oh, shit's about to go down. So, but I think they wouldn't have called the vote if it wasn't going to pass. So I think we're going to have a bipartisan majority of Democrats and Republicans coming together to get this done, because this was a good deal for Republicans by any stretch of the imagination. And then the Democrats, unfortunately, are going to have to do this because Joe Biden needs them to do it, because they kind of mismanaged this a little bit. I don't think people thought that Kevin McCarthy was going to actually put a vote. How do I say this? He was never going to pass a debt ceiling bill. Like, how they passed their Grow Better Save Act thing. When they were able to pass that, they got a lot more leverage out of it. And hey, it's a tax write-off. Everything's a tax write-off. I wish. Who's going to win the vote? Most likely the yesers are going to win the vote, and that's going to be a combination of Democrats and Republicans, kind of more of the moderate centers. This is kind of a bill made of the swamp, if you will. Usually, I think that's how people look at it. So if you're a very left person, progressive, I have a friend that's a really progressive guy. Anybody that's not progressive is in the swamp. If you have a friend that's in the conservative movement, I have a friend that's very conservative at Montana. Everything that's not really conservative, they're part of the swamp. So, like, it's called the swamp, like that middle zone where they play the games, they do all the negotiations, and they get the kickbacks and favors for their votes and stuff like that. This is kind of the way Washington works, unfortunately. However, right now it seems like there's going to be a combination here. And so far, we still have about 11 minutes left. We have 85 yeses for Republicans. Democrats have almost 40 yeses, and 30 Republicans have said no, and 6 Democrats have said no. So it looks like we're probably still on course to get a good vote here, but we have another 10 minutes to wait. It's good to chill, listen to this. Well, I'm not going to play any music right now because this is too big of a day. But, you can see how people mingle on the floor here as best you can. I got this on my jumbo monitor over here, so watching it slowly, all you do is see people talk, maybe have a laugh. A lot of people in the background. I don't know if you guys look in that back corner. There's just a whole bunch of people. They're just standing. I don't know what the heck they're doing. Like, do they not want to go to their seats, or they just want to stand there and wait? Maybe they're just staff. I have no idea. AOC and Bernie Sanders against the bills. Well, of course they are. But guys, this is Democrats are not winning this like policy fight. I think Democrats are voting for this because it's not as bad as they thought, because I think McCarthy had more leverage than he realized. And then on top of that, they don't want to see some of these programs rolled back. They wanted to see taxes go up and things of that nature. So, of course, they're not going to be happy with it. But they know that if they vote no, the bill is still going to pass. So they're not going to be the person that actually, like, did something what they believe is horrible, if that makes sense. So they can come to the side. Republicans are doing the same thing. If you're on the far left, far right, you can say, hey, I'm going to vote no, but they're only voting no because they know the bill is still going to pass without them. If you guys have been on MSNBC, CNBC, CNN, Fox News, Bloomberg all this week, all the politicians that are voting no, they're like, no, I'm voting no, but the bill is still going to pass. They say it like that, like that means their stance doesn't matter, or at least to me it doesn't. But one of my local representatives is the progressive lady Jayapal. I don't really like her, but she represents part of where I live, so she's the only one I really see in the news as far as Washington State. Some of you guys see Texas, California, New York, Philadelphia sometimes, Florida sometimes. I think at once out Iowa maybe. I don't know, but you see people every now and again. Where's the mean mug dude? Oh, I don't even know where that guy went. That guy was just ticked off at something. Well, again, this is their vacation. They are supposed to be on vacation right now. They were called back to do this vote because one of the things is that's Senator Michael Lee, I think it is. So yeah, there's senators in here right now too. This is interesting. They're taking a peek. That's very weird. Okay. Now, what basically let me see right here. Oh yeah, this is the week off here. But remember what happened. In order for Kevin McCarthy to get the job, those on the far right made him have to do made him have some concessions. So he had to concede some things to them. One of the important ones, which I agree with as a taxpayer, I really do agree with this one. I'm surprised we didn't have more liberals and progressives support this as well. Is we don't have these massive bills that come to the floor, then everybody, what do you want to say? They vote on it, then they read what's inside. Now there's a 72-hour rule that if a bill comes to the floor, we have 3 days to read it. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. I remember last year when they were passing these types of bills, it was like a 1,000-page bill, and it was so hard. It was before the days of ChatGPT. And even then, I don't think ChatGPT could go through that entire bill if it wanted to. So, it made it a lot easier. So I think this bill is like 100, 200 pages, a very, very small amount. A lot of it just kind of like clawing back money from COVID. Most of it's just like a whole bunch of stuff that Republicans wanted, but Democrats made sure that they didn't get too much. But Democrats are pretty much giving up everything here, which is kind of a bummer for them because I just don't think they were well prepared for this type of situation. I think they thought Republicans were probably going to do infighting between the far right and the more moderate Republicans, that leading to no compromise and no bill getting passed. And therefore, when the debt ceiling came up, Biden would say, Republicans don't even have a plan. Let's just pass the spending bill, stuff like that. And when Republicans actually united and made that that bill and passed it, all of a sudden that caught Joe Biden in the White House flat-footed. Then they were forced to negotiate. As you guys remember, all the way in February, I think, Joe Biden says no negotiations, no negotiations, no negotiations, every single freaking month, no negotiations, and all of a sudden, boom, he was forced to do it. That's why you're seeing Democrats very upset here because they miscalculated. Kevin McCarthy pulled like a stunner here, basically. I think you might say Kevin McCarthy had something of an onside kick in the game of football. He has not won the game yet because this bill has not been passed into law. However, he did get a what do you want to say? He did get a not a fair catch. What was I saying? An onside. He recovered an onside kick. I think that's what I meant to say. Recovered an onside kick. They now have the ball. They're marching towards the goal line here, the end zone basically, but they are still losing the game. Until it is passed, they're still losing the game. Now, what's happening right now is after this bill is passed, if it gets passed, it goes over to the Senate. If it goes over to the Senate, or when it goes over to the Senate, there is going to be amendments put on the bill. As the amendments get put on the bill, we'll have to see if that's enough to get it sent back down to the House, or if it's going to go straight to the president. If it does go to the president afterwards, with maybe a few amendments, that's like catching a touchdown in the end zone, winning the game. Okay, with just a few amendments, maybe nothing, no amendments, we'll have to figure it out. But if there is a lot of amendments and the bill is watered down in the Senate, that means they maybe win, but they only get like a 3-point to win it instead of a 7 points to win it. But they still win, but it's not by as much. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. But the Republicans are really just bulldozing Democrats right now, and it's weird. You normally see Democrats bulldozing Republicans, right? Especially since, for the past few years we had the democratically controlled Congress, so they were able to push their agenda through just like Trump did when he was president. But now it's kind of just like, oh, whoa, now we got the divided House, and we were looking to see who was actually going to win with Republicans in the House, Democrats in the Senate, and the Democrat in the White House. Well, so far, the only big fight I think we've had this year is going to be this, and Republicans are going to go 1-0, perhaps. And then after this, I don't know how much more work is going to be done, and it's kind of sad to say this, but we're heading into primary season, and I just heard like Chris Christie and Mike Pence are going to jump into the race. Who the heck likes Chris Christie? Who the hell likes Mike Pence? Like, why are they hopping in? Like, I have a bunch of conservative friends. I have a lot of Democratic friends. Like, I have Democratic friends who don't like Joe Biden, but like the Kennedy guy. I have friends that like Joe Biden and like the Kennedy guy. But like most of them, like it's okay with who they got. My Republican friends, nobody likes Mike Pence. Nobody cares about Chris Christie. Nobody cares about them whatsoever. They're either Ron DeSantis fans, they're Donald Trump fans, or they're Tim Scott fans, surprisingly. I thought they might be more like Nikki Haley or something, but no, they don't care about Nikki Haley at all. They're all Trump. I'm surprised Tim Scott made the list, too, for some of them. So, it's just a weird freaking time, guys. But once we start getting into the election season, things slow down in Congress. They don't pass anything. They're going to try to pass something, but it's not going to work. And then if you guys remember, we're getting closer and closer to having our GDP go negative. So when that happens, that's going to be that first big sign of a recession. We just learned a few weeks ago that Germany just entered into a recession. So the world's not necessarily in a good spot. And as you guys recall, we already had a minor recession last year, but the government and the media gaslit us into saying it's not a recession. It was totally a recession. 2 negative quarters of GDP growth or contraction, that's a recession. But we got gaslit by the entire United States media, which I just think was freaking insane. But it kind of always reminds you, like, if I'm a conservative, I prefer to watch Fox News. If I'm a liberal, I prefer to watch CNN and MSNBC. However, there are times where you got to understand they're all just corporate media, and they all kind of have that same thing going with them. So, when you see like a set of facts in front of you saying, hey, well, there's 2 negative quarters of GDP, the dictionary, Investopedia, let me show you that. But that means that we have that means we're in a recession. And then you go to Investopedia, and Investopedia changed their definition. Then they had to change it back because they got in trouble. So it's stuff like that, where, as a YouTuber, I'm just like, I will show you guys CNN, Fox News, stuff like that, but at the end of the day, they can be freaking annoying. Okay. And what's here? Hey, Discount Killer, happy to see you back, man. I heard McCarthy will lose his job as speaker. Yeah, you might have some far-right Republicans that say, hey, we don't want him as speaker anymore. It only takes one person to have that vote of no confidence. So we'll see what's going to happen here. But so far, I don't think his job is in danger. We'll have to wait. Right there in the middle of your screen towards the back, they just left him. You could saw the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, there. He did a good job of pulling some of the Democratic votes here. We need 7 more votes, and about 151 people have not voted yet. So it looks like we're going to have this as a pass. I think what's happening here is people are just kind of slowly coming in, it looks like. There's only 36 seconds left. They will extend the time here. I don't know why grown adults can't just do their job within a 15-minute period of time. I really don't know what the purpose of that is. However, they will extend the votes and stuff like that a little bit later here. And there we go. We do have the pass. We're at 220 here. Wait, see how everybody's voting at the last few seconds? So it is a yes. We do have a pass on the vote. For now, let me just do this very fast. Let me do this right here. I'm going to go over here to this display tab very fast, and you guys can still see just on a smaller version. But so far here, let's go over to the 1-minute stream. So we do have a pass here. I'm wanting to see if Bitcoin will maybe have a little bit of a reversal here. This is a 1-minute chart. Bitcoin hasn't been doing all too much over the last few hours. It's been going sideways. Here's the 15-minute chart, bouncing up a little bit more. Definitely had a little bit of a drop here like an hour ago, though. I wonder what that was about. 4-hour chart. still hugging the 50. The big thing here, while we're kind of waiting for this passage here, and I'll go back to the main thing in here in a second. I think this was like that. There we go. Basically, we're hovering over the 20-day moving average, and you guys remember when we start breaking above and breaking down below moving averages, especially the 20, the 50, and the 200, they are some really significant moves. We saw this over here, which was a very significant move. This one was kind of scary here because I actually was shorting this one a little too early, and so I saw my copy trades go up and up and up, and I had to, I guess I closed them for a profit, but it definitely was kind of iffy there. I ordered some more shorts over here. I closed them around here right before I started to dump, but I was too tired to do too much trading. I think I had some trades over here, and I'm watching to make sure votes are still coming in. The timer's at 0. But so far, about $1,300 in the last 7 days. You can see some last trades I did right here. 10x shorts did not end well. Then there's just a whole bunch of like little teeny green ones that kind of balance it out. So I would say it was kind of more of a net, teeny bit net positive, but really just kind of breaking it even depending on how you guys are looking. There we go. I don't want to stay on this for too long because I do want to look at some of these charts. All right, 5-minute chart. Okay, so far nothing really happening to the price of Bitcoin. Maybe once the vote is actually called, we'll check it out and see if anything big has happened here. But for now, let's go back over here to the websites. Let's go this one, and let's open that up, and we can go back over here to the vote. There we go. Oops, that's not the one I'm looking for. Is this the one I'm looking for? No, this is the one I'm looking for. There we go. I got too many scenes on my computer. All right. Oh, and hey, GT, I remember why the weird hair guy stands out. Rapper Mike Rogers had to be restrained from going after Gates in the House floor after. Oh, yeah. I remember that because you had, what's his name there? You had McHenry there trying to soothe tensions a little bit. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they probably kept him up there so he wouldn't be pissed off. Right there, right by the yay sign, that's Chip Roy. He's the head of the conservatives that are opposing this bill. So right now everybody's smiling, having fun. Everybody knows the bill is going to pass. They can go back to their constituents saying, hey, we voted no because we wanted more spending. The moderates can say we were responsible and passed this bill even though we didn't like it, but we did it for you, the American people, to protect your 401ks. And the far left can go, no, we voted no as well because we don't think this bill fit our values. We did not approve of this, and now you should support us again because when the tough time came, we voted no. It's all a game, but if you don't watch politics, usually you're going to see a 2-minute, 3-minute talk about this in your morning news, and you're going to think everything was perfectly fine. There was no hiccups whatsoever. When in reality, there are so many things happening here at play. So many things, so much politic games happening. It's crazy. Maybe because I've been watching Succession, but yeah, man, it's wild. So we got 290 here. That's a big pass right there. That's a really big pass. We only have 38 people who have not voted yet, so we're in a good spot, everybody. And hey, Neil, gaslighting. Oh, yeah, it was plain gaslighting, guys. I have never seen anything like it in my entire life. Again, I am not used to having the government gaslit at such a, like, I've never seen it happen before. I've just never seen something like that happen before, where we were clearly in a recession from a technical perspective, and then boom, they decided to ignore it and just choose a whole bunch of other facts to say, oh, no, this stuff is okay, therefore we're not in a recession. And, you know, you go talk to everyday people, I think the majority of people in America think we're in a recession right now. That's the thing. Let me go over here very fast. Poll, are we in a recession? So this was November 3rd of 2022, but 75% of likely voters think we're in a recession. So right here. Can I find one? Let's go in the past month, maybe. PR Newswire, what's this? Only 16% of consumers rated the U.S. economy good or excellent. 8-point decline since last September. And last September was pretty shitty if you guys don't remember in the markets. And what's right here? So 54% of Americans are eating out less. 37% are driving less. Delaying a major purchase, only a third, which is why we're still humming along. Relying more on credit cards, 23%. We've seen that credit card bills are all-time highs. Looking for a better paying job, 20%. If you got more costs, don't just spend less money, find a better job. That's a good way to think about it. Reducing the retirement plan contributions, 11%. That's not good. Decreasing coverage limits on existing insurance policies, 10%. I didn't even think about that one, paying less for insurance. I need my insurance. What happens if somebody hits my car and they don't have insurance? There's a lot of crazy people these days. But yeah, definitely some wild stuff going on here. Now, we got 13 people who haven't voted yet, the slowpokes. We got 312 votes for it. We should be good for tonight, everybody. This should be a good one right here. After this, we're going to have a little bit of a speech, maybe some people talking about it. And then from there, we'll have to see how this works out tomorrow as far as where the Senate is going to take it. Now, it looks like he's getting ready to talk. You see the guy right in front of the American flag? He's getting ready to say something here. Well, now he's breathing heavily. But he's probably had a very, very long day. I'm trying to see. 8 people haven't voted yet. They just need to freaking, like, just say, hey, the timer is up. Those 8 people don't need to vote. And just have them be voted as present or not present, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Still no big move in Bitcoin's price or the dollar's price. Nothing so far. I don't know if we have to wait for a gavel, or maybe everybody just assumes this is going to pass, so nobody's actually taking some big bets off of it. And hey, Magic Man, from what I can see, is the very same people that invest into these wars are the same people investing into all the media, Fox and CNN? Well, yeah. Guys. Oh, the guy just asked, does anybody want to change their vote? Remember, they're all part of the same thing. It's all corporate. They just represent different corporate interests. That's all. But you could find certain media entertaining. I watch Fox News. I watch CNN. I find certain shows worth watching because I like who they have on to talk. But I just know when they report the news and the facts, I'm like, eh.
The bill is passed.
Hey!
Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on the motion of the gentlewoman from Missouri, Ms. Wagner, to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 2797 as amended, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title.
H.R. 2797, a bill to amend the Securities Act of 1933 to require certification examinations for accredited investors and for other purposes.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass the bill as amended? Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
5-minute vote this time. Okay, now they're basically having another vote to say, hey, there's a rule that we have to do more stuff here. Let's just skip the rule and just send it right on over to the Senate. Bureaucracy, but it's our bureaucracy. It's our American legal system, so we gotta love it. Yep, and Louisville Scratcher, it will be going to the Senate next. The Senate will not be voting on it tomorrow. They may take 1 or 2 whole days to figure this out. The Senate is very, very gonky. What I think people really don't understand is that when you send your House member, like you vote for something in the House, and they end up being out of your party, Bitcoin's going down here just a teeny bit, not too much, but I'll let you know if it starts getting a little bit more of an aggressive dip here, just a teeny bit. But basically, you are more likely to kind of understand or talk with your local representative in government, your House member. They are more likely fighting for what you want because of the way gerrymandering has been working in the past. All right? So you tell them, if you're a Republican and you get a Republican, hey, I want less regulation so I can get more water on my farmland. I want this, whatever. And they try to work with you. They may be a little bit more hardline and they maybe not wanting to compromise because maybe you don't want them to compromise, right? But when it comes to senators, they try to work kind of even more in the middle. But at the same time, I think senators, from like a corruption standpoint of like how they accept fees and lobbying fees and stuff like that, I think they're way worse than House members. I think your average higher up House member, this could be a Kevin McCarthy and Nancy Pelosi, I think they get paid a lot more from lobbyists, like kind of the same amount as a senator. But a senator is like way more than your average senator gets paid a lot more by lobbyists than your average House member. unless the House member is incredibly important, and most House members are not incredibly important. There's just so many freaking votes. There's so many Republicans, right? And most of the time, the votes that you guys are looking at are that we do watch. They're not the really important stuff. This is like one big important thing. But how often do you guys watch all these votes? Not much. So you guys don't really see what's happening day to day. You guys would have to go over to House of Representatives.gov or something and actually go through the bills and see how they were voted on. You'd be surprised how many Democrats vote with Republicans and how many Republicans vote with Democrats, because they all still get their funding from the same corporations or the same lobbying firms, right? The lobbying firm represents this company, and that lobbying firm gives the money to these election campaigns for these Republicans and Democrats. And if they get some nice votes, or that they get some help on a certain committee vote or something of that nature. Now, it's kind of sticky and nasty, and it's what people refer to as the swamp these days. But I don't know if they could run without the gunk at this point. It's almost gone from gunk or swamp juice, whatever you want to call it, to just oil and lubrication that keeps the system going. Because most of the time when you go look at random bills, they're not really beneficial for everybody. It's just kind of the way they work, unfortunately, I guess. But you guys know me, I'm a pessimist when it comes to government. They kind of all suck. Like Republicans suck, Democrats suck. There are people in each party that are better than others, of course. But for the majority, I don't have much faith in people. And that's more of a pessimistic view. I hope you guys are not as pessimistic as I am. But yeah, I don't like either one. There are people I like on both sides, but majority of people, I think they all come there with really good intentions, and I honestly believe that. But as time goes on, they learned the tit for tat way of how Washington works, and I think a lot of them come there saying they're going to change Washington, but they never change it because they just accept Washington as it is. It's like, don't even know how to describe it. I thought of a way to describe it, but it was very inappropriate, so I probably shouldn't say that. But yeah, just definitely not worth it. I spent my 401k on Zom during COVID. Oh, I spent a large chunk of mine on Zom as well. It paid out pretty well. That and PXD. We've all been smacked, of course, but we're voters. We're supposed to get smacked by our politicians. Speaker has a preacher hair. I keep expecting him to tell me that Jesus said he needs a new jet. What do you call? He definitely has that toupee hair. It's not even a good toupee. I think that's what's really just driving me wild. The only person I ever like actually looking at in Congress is usually McHenry. He's that guy in the background that I always tell you about, and it's only because he has a nice bow tie. He always has a snazzy bow tie. And whenever he's talking to somebody, I pay attention to it because he does all the backroom negotiation type stuff. That's on the Republican side. On the Democratic side, there's not really many people I pay attention to over there. Hakeem Jeffries usually looks pretty stoic, I guess, over there. There's a guy over there. We saw the guy with the mean mug. He was just staring everybody down, and it was pretty interesting. We got Bitcoin going up here a little bit right now. Let's see. Yeah, it's moving up a little bit more. I took a long earlier, but I don't know if it's actually up a little bit here while we're kind of watching this play out. Let me see if I can go back over here and open this up. There we go. Let me see if I can open up. This is a different. So let's go over here. Can I do this? Well, let me log in with Google. Oh. Let's see, there you go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So I have, there we go. So I have this position right here. It's only at 51%. But I did take it back over here somewhere. So we're kind of just barely above it at this point. It was up a lot more, but then we crashed because I was hoping it would keep on going up as the vote went up tonight. But it is interesting to kind of watch this play out here. But so far, I'm going to just go over here to the 1 minute chart on Bitcoin. we're cruising up a little bit. We had a little bit of a dip. We came right back up, and we're trying to have a big breakout here, so that could be kind of fun. Hopefully we can have a larger move. Let's get out of that for now. Back over here to the websites. Oh, geez. New scene. There we go. Something bad. And there we go. Full screen of Roo, and boom. Okay, there we go. Anybody want to change your vote? Almost done, guys. Almost done here. I only trust Doge. You guys can buy whatever you want. Just make sure you guys have a good reason for buying it, and try not to go all in on one token. At least that's my opinion here.
The yeas are 383. The nays are 18. 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
He's gonna have to read another bill or something. I see people walking out the back, so that maybe they're done.
Chair lays before the House of Communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, sir. I write to inform you that I am resigning my position as the member of the United States Congress representing the 1st Congressional District of Rhode Island, effective at the close of the legislative day of May 31st, 2023. It has been the honor of my lifetime to represent the 1st Congressional District of Rhode Island in the United States House of Representatives, and I am eternally grateful for their trust and faith that the people of the 1st District placed in me to serve as their member of Congress for the past 12 years. Enclosed, find a copy of the letter I have submitted to the Rhode Island Governor, Daniel J. McKee. Signed sincerely, David N. Cicilline, Member of Congress.
Who the heck is this guy that just quit today of all days? He must have some really bad shit coming.
Pursuant to Section 3Z of the House Resolution 5, the House stands in adjournment until 11 a.m. tomorrow.
So this stream should probably cut off here in a second. David Bellini, maybe? There we go. Okay, they've adjourned until tomorrow. Let's go back over here to display. I wonder if it's this guy. David Bellini? I don't know. But something happened here. Why did that guy quit at the end of today? That is very, very weird. Let's see. House, Gov. I want to check this out. Oh, I can take off this video now. Let's get out of this. Let's get this out of here. Let's actually get out of that. All right. Homepage, US Gov. I want to find a representative here. Help wanted. Law enforcement staffing challenges at the border. Oh, geez. Representatives, leadership. Okay, representatives. By state and district, we want to go to M. Oh, where's that guy? The 1st district, Neil Richard? Or maybe it was Neil Richard. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was this guy. Richard Neal. Not, Richard Neal. Okay. And then let's go to news. Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, I'll want to look that up because that was something interesting. Now, as far as Bitcoin's concerned, we're still going more sideways here. This vote has had not a really large move on the price action so far. Today, overall, go over here. We have seen the NASDAQ coming back down just a little bit more of a pullback. We know we're kind of in this weird tech AI bubble as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. Let's zoom out a little bit and you will just see how wild we are. We are still not at all-time highs for the NASDAQ, actually not even close, but we are getting fairly close. That next level of resistance is really back up here towards 15,187. I think we're probably going to hit that before coming back down. On the other hand here, the Dow Jones is showing some incredible weakness as we're looking to break down below both the 50-week moving average, as well as this upward trend level that we've been holding on to for the last 2 weeks or so. SPY, here we go, having a breakout last week, still trying to hold up strong. Not really as much upside here as for the SPY, it's really up to 433. However, that could be a few good days here. Just be careful because it looks like next week will most likely be pretty rough for all of us here. Now, as far as cryptocurrencies and everything like that, you do see Bitcoin trying to break out. We tried to break out last week, and you can kind of see this on the daily chart here. Had this breakout, fell back down, unfortunately, but still kind of just holding on, but not the best hold on here, honestly. It's just not been too good here. we'll see how this plays out. I bet if I made this a little bit more precise, you may have a better opportunity to see. No, that's the middle part right there. Yeah, we just didn't have a good day yesterday. Everybody was kind of panicking. We broke back down below the 50-day moving average. It wasn't a good day. Dollar index looks like it wants to explode upwards after this little bit of a consolidation period. If that happens, Bitcoin's going to come down even more. Ethereum and cryptocurrency stocks are going to come down just a little bit more. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm thinking that cryptocurrency is a little bit more danger right now instead of just the stock market, because at least the NASDAQ still has a reason to keep going up because everybody is going crazy with AI. They are buying at too rich of a valuation, but it doesn't matter. We're just entering a small bubble here. It'll burst. It won't be catastrophic, but it'll burst. But the Dow Jones is definitely coming down here slowly. And since it's been breaking down, you know, that you may see the Dow Jones start coming back into recession territory. People are starting to freak out all over again. And then you may just see the NASDAQ keep on pumping because everybody wants to get in on this AI trade because they're afraid if they don't buy now, it's going to keep on going up and up and up. As I just told you guys a few days ago, right after the NVIDIA earnings, I ended up selling off about 95% of all the NVIDIA I had. And if I go back over here, right, so I sold my NVIDIA right here this day. It ended up going from like where I sold like 380, it ended up going all the way up to $419. So I didn't get the best price. However, it's actually lower than when I bought it right now. So I'm actually okay with that. But you can see how great of a move it had. It's still relatively high, but eventually this thing may be sold back down just a little bit. If you guys want to enter into it, this is going to be your opportunity as it's filling this gap back down. I'm not buying it. I am waiting for a recession, and I'm going to be happy to wait for a recession. Some of the other things I think you guys need to know about here, just because they've been in the news quite a bit. If I can find it here, is it not on my list? I don't think it's on my list. One thing here is oil is going down, but I don't want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about Target. There we go. Guys, Target is just getting shat upon by, I guess they went woke or something like this. I have not been paying attention to this too much. If some of you guys have any thoughts about what exactly was going on, please let me know. But, I mean, Target got hit by anti-woke people. I don't know what you want to call them, but, you know, people that don't like the stuff that they were sharing at their stores. I didn't get a good look at it. I'm not paying attention to this stuff, honestly. But we had that breakdown, and that breakdown hit hard. I think if I was even to put on this smart money concepts indicator, no, not that one. Let's go with this is divergences. Where's the one I know would be probably better in this situation here? Go with price action concepts. That's fine for now. There we go. We had that change of character right there. We had that pullback back up. If I can just, oh, maybe I'll just do it like this. There you go. We had a pullback, came back down. But for now, really, it's just Target's getting walloped here, guys. You may find a buying opportunity, but Target, if I kind of zoom out a little bit more, Target's in the worst spot even from last year. It's broken down below last year's lows. Target may go all the way back down here to 112. If you guys are looking for an opportunity to buy, that first round of buying for Target would come right now. But holy moly, guys, Target was just freaking annihilated. And I think some of the other ones that we've been watching are the Budweiser Corporation. I forget their actual stock. Budweiser stock. Bud stock price. Why do I always forget this? After hours. Okay, let me just type in Bush and hopefully that gets me somewhere. Bush. And Archie's. Oh, there we go. No, but see, that's not for Anheuser-Busch InBev SA sponsored. Bud? Maybe this is it. I don't know. This seems like what Bud would be. I don't know why it says sponsored right here though. Is this sponsored on TradingView or something? They're like, are they looking for people to buy up their stock? Yeah, that's so weird. Okay. Basically, Bud Light's been falling off of a cliff here too. These are still good companies if you want to buy them for the long-term go. I know most people probably aren't going to buy them because they've kind of entered into this controversy, and I don't know exactly how bad this controversy is going to get. Yeah, this is going to be a wild one as far as Bush and Target fans are concerned. I feel bad for the people that own these stocks and they trusted them because they are a couple bad marketing decisions, and all of a sudden, I think just like how the left likes to cancel people on the right is taking that same kind of vibe and going right back at the left with it. And I was not prepared to be talking about Target and freaking Anheuser-Busch and how their stocks are doing. I don't even usually care about such things. One other thing here, guys, as far as Bitcoin's weekly chart is concerned, you guys can still see we're holding above the 200 weekly moving average here. We are going to have a golden cross here pretty soon, so I'm hoping that'll bring us back up to 30,000 as long as the market stays solid, and of course, as long as they are able to pass a debt ceiling bill. That's really what we're looking for at this point in time. And hey, Ken, so far, yeah, and appreciate the super chat, my man. So far, I guess we can just go over here and look at this as far as weekly chart first. All right. There we go. So let me actually get out of this very fast. So like a lot of stuff out there, we've had a really good week, and SoFi is no exception. It managed to bounce back above the 50 and the 20-week moving averages here, looking really good. If you wanted to look at some of these weekly charts, you can see somewhat of a breakout here. We did have a breakout here a while ago, but it was just a false breakout here, and that was mostly because of the poor earnings report that came out. Just kind of shredded everything. Now, as far as this is concerned, let me move this over here. Let's actually do this from the daily chart perspective, so it'll make it a little bit easier for you. There we go. And I want to add this on here. There we go. Okay. So right now, most of the momentum is obviously up right now. I don't exactly know what happened today, so let me actually just go over here to FinViz. Let me go over here to SoFi, and let me just find out what the news was. Let's see. SoFi scheduled 23 deal boost. Okay, let's go over here. Better not make me pay to read this. Okay. SoFi Technologies pushed higher today on news regarding a new debt ceiling deal. SoFi stock is up 54% year to date. It's headed higher. It's time for a breather. The video below provides details. No, I don't care about the video. Stop pushing your YouTube channel on me. I don't want to hear it. I got enough YouTube channels and stuff to deal with, including my own. Let's go back over here. 30. Holy freaking moly. Okay. Debt deal boost. What's this debt deal? I don't want to watch that. Okay, there you go. Shares it, jumping the debt deal. Oh, I see. Under the terms of the deal, student loan repayments would restart, which would be good for SoFi's business. So they can start bringing in some money right now, and they are a bank that's been getting hit hard. Okay, that explains it quite a bit. Okay, that's going to mess with this technicals here even a little bit more. But basically, you're at a first level of resistance here. After that, you're really looking at this around 825. Now, if I go back over here to the weekly chart very fast, you can see this had a great IPO. Everything has been fine until we got to the end of last year, or end of 2 years ago, excuse me. Things have really been going downhill for them since, and that's basically because of the crypto bull market kind of faded away from us. Now, we have reached a pretty good bottom level here around $4, which is a lot less than what it was. If you're looking to buy into this, I'd be very hesitant to buy after it's had a massive boost just within a few days. You can see after the past few weeks here, just to go pop weeks in at least. Yeah, we're at 56%. Normally, I don't try to chase stuff that's up 56%. If you're looking for more of a day trade, that's what I'd be looking for. I would pop open the 15-minute chart and probably mix it with an hour. You can see how we're kind of just booming up day by day by day. Tomorrow, you're probably going to want to trade the volatility, but I don't know if you'd necessarily want to trade the actual stock overnight. Because what's happened is, now we know the deal has been passed through the House after watching Congress kind of do their show, parade, whatever. And so tomorrow morning, you may see this thing pop up towards $7.50 or $8 almost. So if you wanted to play that ride, you can definitely do that. But I'd be day trading options. Now, if you're looking at this, you can see it's not a high price. You're not going to be trading something in the 50s or the hundreds of dollars. You're looking at something that's around $6.90 or maybe around $7, $8 tomorrow. You know, if it's at like $7 or something, you could buy options that expire Friday if you wanted to. Maybe that's a little bit more risky, but a little bit more money on top of that. you know, if you got $7 price, you can try to buy options at $7.50. If it's at $7.50, try to go a little bit out the money for a little bit more risk. Otherwise, you could just try to buy something that's in the money there for a little bit less volatility, but that's completely up to you. So far, your day-to-day technicals there are just kind of a mess here, to be frank with you. You can see some action that's been happening in the middle of the pre-market here, some breakouts happening like that. But the majority of the time, you're pretty much just buying on a pullback and then just waiting for it to continue back up, because this overall trend, as we kind of talked about this before, Cam, overall trend is up. It's been up. It looks like, I'll say really since this time frame right here, you can kind of imagine the change of character where we've been going down. We've had that first initial boost. Most people bought around here, and they're probably looking to scale out sometime this week. There might be a little bit more of a pump, but you're really catching that last little 1 or 2 days of pump that's left in there. One last thing I would say about it is just keep an eye on what the Senate is doing. If the Senate is saying that, hey, we want student debt limits to be paused again or something like that, they put an amendment and it gets passed for whatever reason. I doubt it will, but if it does, you'll see this stock come crashing back down about 50-40% in one day. So just understand this is going to be a hard one just because of what the bill is actually going to do for the business. It's getting a really nice boost right now, but if for whatever reason there's an amendment passed in the Senate, it'll be catastrophic for the stock. So I'm hoping it has a nice big move here, but at this point in time, a little bit more of a move left over. I don't know why I'm holding my light remote. Now let's go over here. Where's my mouse at? There we go. Oh, there it is. Why is it over there? Let's drag that over. There we go. All right, Bitcoin back on the 5. And you can definitely, Bitcoin's coming back down just a little bit now. Again, really not much has been happening here after the vote. Maybe because everybody thought we were going to actually have this vote here. It's not wine, it's anti-white. What, Target? Oh, Jesus, people woke. They were selling clothes for kids with LGBT stuff and people were nuclear. Oh, wow, to kids. I don't shop at Target. I shop at DXL because they have clothes for big guys like Reebok golf shirts and stuff. I don't remember the last time I've been in Target. I think the last time I was at a Target was to buy a Mother's Day card a couple years ago. Then before that, I bought my mom an Apple Watch there. Damn, Target. You guys know me. I'm kind of a hermit. I go outside. I go out and do stuff, but I don't go out there and do cultural stuff. You know, like culture stuff. I kind of just chill and do my own thing. Like yesterday, I took Loki to the beach and I talked with a whole bunch of random people. Loki got tons of treats, nice little conversations with people. There was nothing about culture. I don't think people talk about it too much, but man, like, what the heck? Target. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that is pretty wild. The Target is you. Oh, jeez. Money raising Tim Scott's all right. What do you call? I think a lot of people have been liking Tim Scott. So far, I'm kind of waiting to see how the polls react to all of this stuff. Like who has a chance to become president or at least the Republican nominee. Who I'm looking at right now, probably like the Donald Trumps, the DeSantis, and Tim Scotts. The Democrats I'm looking for is, I probably wouldn't vote for Joe Biden because he's just too old. I would be, if he was old but like spry in his mental capabilities, I think I would actually vote for him, or I would be open to voting for him, even though like his policies haven't been good. That would stop me from voting for him, wouldn't it? Yeah, I might if it came down to it, maybe I'd vote for that Kennedy guy because yeah, Biden's really not somebody I want to vote for personally. Sorry guys, if you're Biden fans, don't hate me for it. I'm trying to think, yeah, there's Marianne Williamson, but I don't like her. The only person I think I like on the Democratic side is the Kennedy guy. He makes a lot of sense to me. But I don't think he's going to be given a chance to debate Joe Biden. Then you got Trump on the other side. You got DeSantis. You got Tim Scott, Nikki Haley. Pence is coming in now. Mike Sununu, Chris Christie. There's a lot of people. There's that Indian guy. There's those other people. There's a lot of people in the Republican one. I don't know why everybody's running for president all of a sudden, but everybody feels like they got a shot. Chris Asa Hutchison, I forgot his name. Maybe that one lady that doesn't like Trump will run. What's that one lady? Cheney. She lost her seat. She got like decimated by her own voters for like not listening to them. I always find it crazy that politicians will go against what their community or their like the people that put them in office want because they're trying to stand on some moral principle. Like, you better just do your job and listen to your constituents. They put you there to do what they want, not to do what you want. Oh God, that's like the most uppity thing I've seen in a long time. Oh, and hey, Monster, thank you for letting me know. Yeah, why did he resign? That's my thing. Why did David resign? So let's go over here very fast. Oh, I can't copy it. No. Okay, there we go. David, S-I-S-I-L-E, maybe. Every step of the way they underestimated us. Celine signing off after years of fighting for progressive causes. Roll call. I guess this is the most recent one. Representative David couldn't have known in February that there would be so much turmoil in Congress on his final day in the House of Representatives. The 7-term Democrat from Rhode Island, Rhode Island, not Massachusetts. I don't know why I thought Massachusetts. Announced a little more than 3 months ago that he'd be leaving Congress effectively June 1st to become president and CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation. See, he took a cozy job. Cozy job. See, these people are just freaking insane. I thought it was going to be something helpful, but no, he went to go get a nice little job. Yep. I swear. This is a progressive. Usually progressives are much more progressive. I don't know. You know what you want to call it. Rhode Island Foundation. Yep, getting paid. Yeah. Community. Committed to Rhode Island. Yep. Donations make a lot of money. My gosh. But yeah, what do you call them? They always go to these types of places. You know, what if I quit YouTube and I said, hey, everybody, I'm going to become the CEO of YouTube's new crypto branch. And all of a sudden, you guys just start seeing less crypto channels on the platform. Like, no. We're only allowing crypto channels that I approve. No Tom Crown, no Jordan Camerons. We can only watch Batman Crypto. We can only watch BitBoy. You know, that's and Final Stand are the only two channels. BitBoy and Final Stand are the only two channels you can watch on YouTube. Like it's so, you know what I mean? It's just so, it's just so bad. Let's see, CEO. I know, right? It's just absolutely insane. It really is insane. But you know what? CEOs make a lot of money. So would you sell your constituents for a nice big fat wad of money? I think the majority of people out there would. You know, the majority of politicians would. I don't think many of us are ever qualified to be politicians because, you know, I think there comes a certain point where like you have to really want to do that type of murky stuff. You have to be good at it as well. I would be actually okay and good at it, but I don't like it. It's quite an annoyance. I've done corporate work. Corporate is the closest I think I've done to handling, you know, the politics of a corporate office as far as the higher level management. But remember, even at the time, I was still in my early 20s. I was not regarded as a threat to anybody. I was just some dude that was there to learn. Don't act like I was some bald dude that had all this experience and all this wealth. That was not me. I had a little bit of money, but it was nothing like, you know, the big dogs on top. But yeah, so, you know, it happens. It's just the way things roll here. And yeah, you guys laughing now, but what do you call it? It's some cozy jobs. I wonder, I'm touching my head because I got to shave. I thought I had more time, but I haven't shaved in the last few days, so I'm getting my beard back here. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here as far as these next few days because, guys, just as a reiteration here, we are going to have the Senate looking at this tomorrow, but afterwards, they're gonna do amendments. I don't know if the amendments are gonna be tolerable or palatable for a lot of people out there. And how do I say this? You've already seen some Democrats really mad that Joe Biden got his pipeline. Remember how I explained the pipeline in that last video? Joe Biden's getting a pipeline finished. Not Joe Biden, excuse me. Joe Manchin is getting a pipeline finished from West Virginia to Virginia. It's about 80%, 90% done. This is basically just forcing them to continue the project because Joe Biden tried to put a halt to it. This is forcing them to have to finish the project here as fast as possible, which is absolutely hilarious. But like, I don't know why they felt like they needed to give it to Joe Manchin, but maybe they needed his vote or something. But it seems like everybody's going to vote for them, like the majority, like we just had now. There are a few holdouts, but they must be having more trouble getting the votes in the Senate than they are in the House. I'm seeing that David resigned because he got tired of fighting the progressive for progressive causes. Oh, really? I don't. Here, hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, he has a Twitter account. Of course he does. Everybody has a Twitter account these days. Every day over the last 12 years, I put my heart and soul into the work of improving the lives of every Rhode Islander. I'm so proud of what we have accomplished. Looking back at more than a decade of service. Oh, I don't care about that. I wanted to see his reasoning. Oh, here we go. This will be my last week of serving in the United States House of Representatives. It's been an honor. Thank you. Okay, here you go. Let's see. So, like most Americans, I was convinced that Congress was completely broken, but I was determined to try to change that. I knew there were members of Congress who were only interested in being combative and making headlines, but then I realized that there were some members who were interested in working together to get things done for the country. Don't get me wrong, at times like this, it can feel like be incredibly frustrating and disheartening to work with people who you may disagree with on one issue, but completely disagree with you on everything else. Oh, whatever. Let's see. While I may be leaving Congress, I never stop fighting for what I believe in. Yeah. Okay, but yeah. So he just freaking giving up on it. Damn. I don't think he's cut out for it. If you resign, you're not cut out to be a representative. And that's okay. That's okay. He took the money and ran. You know, it's okay to do that. I get. We're a capitalistic society, right? We're capitalists here. And hey, Discount, can you tell me why scale out points for Comcast with my 36.55 average per share? Let's see. Comcast. I always hate. No. Oh, it is okay. Comcast Corporation. Oh, okay, 36.5. I don't know why my mind was putting 36 and 63, so I was like, this cannot be the right stock. So you're looking at 36 right here. You're looking pretty good. Let's go over here to the daily chart. Okay, so you're bouncing off of the 50 here. That's a pretty good sign, so good opportunity there, buying it when you did. 36.55. Did you even? No, you bought it. You must have bought it way over here. Okay. Probably before earnings. All right, let me give you some of those hard levels I'd pay attention to first, and then we'll kind of look at some of these smaller ones as we go look more day to day. So those hard levels right now are about $39.91. Above that, we have $41.69. Both of those look pretty reasonable, especially because you're going to have the 20-day moving average on the first one, and you're going to have this kind of double top approaching here on the second one. So both of those would be the hard sell limits. Again, that first one is going to be exactly. Can I just open this up over here? Does it let me do it from here? No, it's not going to tell me. Oh, okay, that's fine. $39.93. The second one is going to be $41.71. But, you know, you might tweak it about 0.25% down of each one of those if you want to, but I'd say you're fine. Now, what I'd be looking for in the short term here is something a little bit different. Because what I would hope for is that it actually it breaks back above that first one, and then it breaks back above the 20 again, and then you're looking for that resistance point in between those two big little blocks. So if I were to do this right here, okay. And that first scenario here, instead of being up around like $42, you're looking at about $41. I think I would take it if we kind of popped up here. That way we would still be looking at the higher lows, or excuse me, lower highs, and then lower lows at the same time. So it's kind of fitting into that little pattern, okay? Now, if it goes up higher to 41.35, awesome. You're still really close to that other zone, but I'd be looking for something kind of around $41. So perhaps you can just say $41.60. If you manage to break out here as well, there is one more thing I would say. This is a smaller move here, but I don't think it's going to be as good, which is why I'm saving it for last. Let's go back over here a little bit. If you're kind of antsy about it, you may look at something, well, that's still $41. That's kind of going back to the first one here, or the second one here. That one's actually not too bad. This one down here on 40, a little bit higher than the other one, but I think you're actually still fine here. I wouldn't even use this one. Anything else here now that we've had our bottom as well? Yeah, you're at the bottom of a new channel that was created. You would probably want to wait for it to at least come back above to $41. I think 41 solid. If you're a little bit more antsy, you could probably just have a stop loss around that 50-day moving average. So if we start breaking down below that, you know to get out, because if we do, we're going to be coming down quite a bit, probably back down to at least around 37. But at least if it did break down, you would still be able to walk away with a profit because you did buy around 36.55. But I'd be looking more for this zone right here, kind of in the upper zone here. There you go. $40 to $41 is that sweet zone for me. I think it can get there. If it's having any issues, it'll only happen right around here with the 20-day moving average. I just Googled his name and that popped up everywhere. He was part of a Dem party. He did vote yes tonight before he left. Oh, there you go. Again, you saw what I said before. Like, more of the swampy people are going to be voting for it, and more of the progressives and hard right people who are kind of like against it, they're going to be, they're going to be voting against it. It's not bad to vote for this bill at all, guys. It's just the way it's the way Washington works. There are those who are outsiders, and then there are those who are insiders. Progressives are the outsiders of the Democratic Party. The Freedom Caucus, I don't know what they're called. Are they called? I don't know. The far right, I don't know exactly what their terminology is here. But they are the outsiders of the Republican Party. They both work with their respective caucuses. They both work with their respective leaders, but they have different goals of why they're there. And so, today, when they didn't get what they wanted, both progressives and Republicans, they ended up voting against it in those. The first bill. The second one, they just kind of, I think majority of people kind of went along with it there. Yeah, no worries, Discount Killer. Let me get off Comcast. But yeah, you're in a nice little channel right now. If you want to do a larger buy, you can always buy a breakout that happens sometime in the future. Other than that, just kind of chill and hold it for a little bit. I don't think we're going to be looking at a very devastating day tomorrow, especially since we have some good news here. I can check out very fast CNBC for you, though. How are the futures looking? Futures are down for the NASDAQ about 0.19, S&P down 0.06, and the Dow down 0.18. They're pretty much even for the day, so we're not looking too bad here. Debt ceiling bill passes in the House, advances to the Senate days ahead of default deadline. We have about 5 days left. And let's go back over here. There we go. How many votes needed to pass in the Senate? I think in this circumstance, we just need a simple majority, and I believe that would be about 51 or 50 with Kamala Harris coming in to do the vote to finish it off. But I think in this scenario, it's just 50, unless there is some type of rule in place right now that would force it up to the 60 vote threshold or the 60 vote threshold. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, that'd be a big problem there. But for now we're fine. Tomorrow, it's mostly going to be about them doing amendments, very, very boring stuff. And if we're lucky, they'll be able to get those amendments done very fast, and maybe we might even have a vote tomorrow. I would say we're most likely looking for a vote, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, because the Senate is, they're just so slow. They're just so slow. Let's see. Yeah, but they don't need 100. That's all there is in the Senate. All they have is 100 people in there, so they need just 50, 51. They don't need anything else there. But okay, everybody, I'm gonna call it a night right now. I told you guys I have not been getting any sleep because I have to wake up really early to go unlock my mother's door so her healthcare people can come in there. And normally I'd like to take a nap. Today I tried to go back to sleep, and Loki just jumped on me and like tackled my chest and like took the wind out of me, and I was like, ah. So I did not take a nap today. He was having too much fun with his new toy that I got him, and he was just like buzzing around even after I took him outside. So I will see you guys a little bit later. So far, nothing crazy has been happening here, guys. We're just continuing on this downward trend. If you guys are trading, I just want you guys to be a little bit more careful because there are going to be plenty of attempts to do short squeezes and really cause some stop losses to hit. So just be aware of that. If you guys are trading, usually day trading is the safe thing to be doing right now if you guys are in options. If you're in crypto, you can leave the trades on for a little bit longer, but you know, have some fun with it, relax, and I want you guys to check out the news every so often just so you guys have a little bit of an update about what's going on. This may get more frustrating as we head into the Senate, guys. The House did a very good job. McCarthy and Hakeem Jeffries both applause them for getting it passed for us to make things a little bit easier for our trading. If the Senate has, you know, we need Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer to also have a very good time here. And if they do not, oh boy, we're going to be in a shitstorm, so to speak. So thank you guys so much, and I hope